have been married for 8 years with 2 children. Married his potential. Didn't talk about big life choices and decisions before marriage. Got married because I already invested so much time. We just love each other and figured we could make it work. Now, when I reflect, I believe God told me to not marry him, but I didn't listen.
Sometimes kind of gotta cause some holy ruckus. You gotta make it like you about to get up out of here with the kids. You either can go to therapy or I'm taking the kids, we going to mama's, blah, blah, blah. And listen, you gonna be paying me on repeat.
Like, don't minimize the power of interceding, of intercession. Don't minimize that. There is power in being on your face and praying for your husband.
When after you have sex with your husband, that's when he's most open. So maybe after you do this, like, hey babe, I saw this church, I want us to go visit. He's gonna be a little bit more cool, like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, what you want to do? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you because after. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is an Iwegbu production.
Period. What's up, y'all? We are in one of my favorite-ist segments. I know, I love saving favorites.
Yes.
No, we are literally in my favorite segment of the entire show, which is the Love Lounge. Here on Love Lounge, we answer all of your dating, relationship, and marriage questions. So y'all make sure y'all email us at Iwegbus1@gmail.com so we can give you our advice or just any type of tips, feedback that we can give on your relationship questions.
Yes.
Today question we have, I have been married for 8 years with 2 children. Married his potential. Didn't talk about big life choices and decisions before marriage. Got married because I already invested so much time. We just love each other and figured we could make it work. Now, when I reflect, I believe God told me to not marry him, but I didn't listen. There were many red flags prior to marriage that my husband showed that has manifested in our marriage. For example, anger issues, alcohol addiction, lack of self-awareness, and little to no growth to be a healthy person to have a healthy marriage. Due to church hurt, he says he believes in God, but not a specific religion. It seems as if our morals and values do not align. Things have gotten really toxic between us over the years. Most days I want a divorce. Other days I want to fight for our marriage, for our children. I'm exhausted. I'm working on my healing to become a better wife. However, the more I change, the more we disconnect. Many women end up like this due to marrying potential, ignoring red flags. So now what? How should this situation be handled?
How should this be handled? So I'll start off a little bit here when it comes to this, babe. So I definitely, first off, I love, again, this is someone who I like that they're taking accountability for what they chose.
Yeah.
You know, that's the first step of really letting God come in and deal with your mistake. I think that he can, like the song said, he can fix what is broke.
Mm-hmm.
But first, you gotta admit it's broken, and I'm the reason why I chose the broken the way that it is.
Yeah.
So I love that they're doing that. I want to say to you that it may not be God's will that you guys are supposed to be married. Maybe, I don't know, but I believe it's His will for you guys to stay married, as long as that is glorifying Him, along there, because you made a covenant between, in front of all those people, with God and your husband there. I believe this is a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you made that covenant there. And so it's a covenant. That's it. It's no going back unless there's something that's broken that covenant. Had you put he cheated in here, he's beaten you, things of that sort, I may be saying, hey, yeah, you got the choice to go ahead and walk away if you want to do that. So first off, I think that, God can deal with that. I think some deep therapy has to happen here.
Yeah.
Deep therapy. You got to take him to someone, and hopefully he's open to it. The problem is that sometimes brothers they know they got you.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a believing woman and they don't want to go to therapy, or they barely want to cooperate. I've heard of brothers just getting in therapy and they don't want to cooperate. I don't want to tell this person who all my business, and it's like, what? Like, what are you? So that's the tough part. But if he's willing to, see if you can get him to, shoot. Sometimes you kind of gotta cause some holy ruckus. You gotta make it like you about to get up out of here with the kids, and let him know what time it may be. Like, yeah, I'm listen. You either can go to therapy or I'm taking the kids. We going to mama's, blah, blah, bloom. And listen, you're gonna be paying me on repeat. What's up? Like we can do it this way or that way.
Yeah.
And real talk is I want people, what I love about it, she said that most days I want to divorce, but other days I want to fight for our marriage, for our children. That is big right there. Listen, I think I want people to slow down, pump the brakes when you ready so quick to give up on your marriage. And especially if you got kids. You got kids. You got to understand this is going to affect them. You could barely name one person from any interviews that you've seen or anything that went unscathed in a divorce. It doesn't matter how young, how long ago it was or anything. You cannot name one person. Those kids, it's the enemy's trying to get past you and get to your children, because as soon as he can divide that house up, oh, it's on. Yeah. He's coming for your kids. I haven't seen, I hear many stories that when the son went off the wrong track, he started acting up in school, he got involved in the gang or whatever, promiscuity started happening, all those different things that typically happen once certain things like divorce came up. So I commend you for fighting for those children. And that's something that you want to also bring in front of your husband. It's like, listen, we got these kids. Like, think about you waking up and they're not here anymore. Think about that. I know you cool or whatever, but they won't be here. I won't be here, and it will be different. I was just listening to this NBA player right now, Damian Lillard. Some of you may know if you watch the NBA, big time ball player, really good, right? And he'd been with his wife for a while. I think they got a few children when it comes to it, but he got traded to a new team and he's going through a divorce now. And he said that it's really sad just in Milwaukee. Like, he was in Portland, Oregon, but he went to Milwaukee, and he's just like, they're like, how is it for you there? And he's just, I guess to paraphrase, he's basically like, it's just dead. It just feels, it's terrible. And I think it was Uncle Shay Shay and Gilbert Arenas was like, they ain't got nothing to do with the new city. Portland, Oregon ain't nothing different from going to Milwaukee. It's nothing to do in either places. It has to do that you no longer waking up. Your kids are not jumping on your face no more. Yeah. No longer is that woman there to say, hey, that was a bad game, but hey, it's okay, baby. Like, to pump you up and all that. He's going to make sure he knows, like, listen, if we don't get this together, you're going to miss our presence here. You think you don't now? You think you're going to be good in these streets? Man, let me tell you, it's another thing. It's nothing out here in the streets for you. And so you want to make that really real to him that, listen, those kids are not going to be around. That may touch his heart, and that may prompt him to want to get right with the Lord and also go to therapy. And again, try to get him into the church. If you can, if he's willing to, go somewhere where there's a strong male core. It has to be a strong male core. Now, that is very far in between. Okay. It's hard to find. But you're going to have to find a really good Bible-based church with a pretty strong and firm pastor who's not just overtly charismatic. Okay. You'll have to have a good blend. That's what's going to happen. That's where you will find that men are locked in. Where you can find that men are locked in, get him there. He going to find the most thugged out, ex-thugged out dude, been in prison, dude that was out here cheating on his wife. He's going to find that person in that type of church. So I would say do that, and I will hope that will help out. What'd you say, babe?
Yeah, that was really good, babe. I think that's it.
Like, come on.
No, seriously, that was really good. I can only really piggyback off of that.
Yeah, please.
The first thing that I want to do is encourage every woman under the sound of my voice that will watch this now and later. There is, like, don't minimize the power of intercession. Don't minimize that. Message. There is power in being on your face and praying for your husband. If that means you go on a 3-day fast every first, second, and third day of the month, and you're doing it, and you say, God, I won't eat for the rest of the year, every 3 days of the month, until you break through my husband, until he falls flat on his face and repent and totally gives his life to you. Like, really put your foot forward. Like, I think knowing who you are as a daughter of God and the access that you have, that's your father. Like, God is your father. Think about if you were sitting with your daddy. I don't know about your personal relationship with your father, but if it's not a good one, let's say you got a bomb dad, and you sit in the living room, you like, Daddy, this man just won't. And he like, wait, what? And he got the power to change it. He's gonna do it.
Come on.
God has the power to change your marriage for the better. And so I want you to pray to God like you know that about him. Pray until you believe it, and pray until you see it. Yeah. And so that's really it. I want to encourage interceding in there, speaking scriptures over him, building him up with your words, speaking life into him. Let him hear worship music playing throughout your house. Let him see you in the middle of the living room with your Bible open and just, reading your word, taking notes. Let him see you praying over your kids. Let him see you changing and growing and developing. But more than anything, sis, behind the closed door in your prayer closet is where you got to put the work in. And have faith that God will intercede. And I also want to say this too. There is a very real side to this, which is you did marry a man with probably a lot of red flags, and you did marry probably a man that you hope to be different. And you're finding out, dang, I married reality. This is who he really is. I actually am, appreciative that you shared your story, because this is what we talk about on this podcast every single week.
Yeah.
And we're saying, single women, listen to this wife, listen to the wives that send in their questions that say, dang, I ignored all those red flags, and I am literally married to the man that I saw. Yeah. Like, I knew he was going to be this, but I hoped he would be something else. And so there is a very real side where you have to say, okay, how can I work with this? I mean, there's one thing for him to be beating you, cheating on you, like, are you friends with him? Do you like, what are the things that you can affirm him in y'all relationship? Oh, we really good friends. Okay, well, fall on that. Like, we're cool. Let's go out. And in the meantime, as far as his spiritual, emotional development, that's just something you got to pray for, sis. There is nothing you can do except for pray. The only thing that works is prayer and God. When God puts his hand on something, then it can change. So you just got to knock on heaven's doors.
Yeah, really knock on heaven's doors. I'm going to add one more thing to this before we wrap up. And I know this may sound we may be going a little left on this, but I was just listening to, I believe it was Chip Ingram, like a sermon he's doing on love, sex, and relationships. And he talked about the power of intimacy. He talked about, like, that's typically, he said, if you, like, when after you have sex with a man, like with your husband, that's when he's most open. He's most open. And I'm not saying that that's all, but this is when you should be using that as a tool, doing whatever it is, because that's when he's most open to tell you. That's when men, a lot of times, even when they out here dating and they shouldn't be doing it, that's when the most dudes get to what we call pillow talking. Right there, they start telling all these different things to chicks that shouldn't even be telling these things to. After they get some, he's a little bit more open. So maybe after you do this, like, hey, babe, I've been thinking, hey, I saw this church, I want us to go visit that. Would you be? He's gonna be a little bit more cool, like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, what you want to do? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, because
babe.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all pray for me, man. We try to be a little bit more discreet about certain things. But hey, it's just saying, like, I don't know he said the scientific part of it in the whatever happens as far as the chemicals and all that. But again, a man is more open. That's when we're at our most vulnerable state.
Yeah.
It's like that. We're like, okay, cool. What are you saying? And that may be a time that just like, I really want to talk to you about something, and pull it out there to him and pour out your heart and just see if it really moves him, so you guys can go get the help that you need, man.
I want to say, like, pull a a smooth mama card on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, set up a whole situation where you set out a picnic, or you get a babysitter for the kids, and y'all go on this date, and y'all having y'all glass of wine over some steak or whatever, and you are lovingly expressing these things with him, and like what's it called? Macking a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, do what you need to do.
All the stops.
Yeah, pull out everything. Do what you need to do. Talk to him, but like, really let him know you love him for who he is. You see so much, like, put into him. Like, I'm telling y'all, for every woman under the sound of my voice, words work. Yes. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, or whatever his love language is, which most of the time it's words. It's words when it comes to it. This is an Iwegbu production.
Period.
Hey, thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you could do us a huge favor, please hit that like button and please subscribe.
Yes, and please do not forget to hit that notification bell. We need y'all to be locked in every single time we drop this fire content. Yes. Also, we need y'all to follow us on all social media platforms at the Iwegbus. And look, we will see y'all on the next video.